So I again do not have a voice, but I'm decided to record this Thursday night after resting my voice for about 2 hours. No talking whatsoever. I've got a little bit of a voice, much better than it was today at school. But we need to get into the actual checking part of this unit that we're in. So if you would scroll down to the Unit 6 Banking, at the very bottom right here, you'll see parts of a check, worksheet, and samples. So if you would please open it, you're going to have to download it as a Word document. It has to be in Word because it's a form to actually complete. So I'll give you a second to get that open and and to download it. So once you actually have it downloaded, this is what it looks like. See if I can make this a little bit bigger for you. All right, so this is called parts of a check. So every check from any bank has basic information that is the same. Some of the information will change, but it's still talking about the same information. Okay, so looking at this check specifically, we'll start in the upper left-hand corner, work our way down and around and up. So this first cell is pointing to this right here. We're going to label this as the payer. So it's the person who owns the checking account that the check is being written against, who is doing the paying. It's the payer. Pay to the order of. So this person is going to be paying this person. So if this person is called the payer, what do you think we're going to call this person? This person is the payee. Okay, next on our little stop of our tour of our check, this arrow is pointing to this right here. So this is the bank. It's the bank's information, just their basic name, and possibly, this one says Atlanta, Georgia, so it's just the city and state, but it could have their full mailing address. It could have phone number. Who knows? That may change, but basically this is the bank's information right here. This line is pointing to this line right here. Even though it says for, this is where you put what you're writing the check for. So we're going to pay the bill, we're going to, somebody's birthday, what have you. So the official name for this line is it's the memo line. Okay, there are a bunch of numbers here at the bottom. They're broken into 3 sections. The first section here of numbers, does anybody know what this is? It's the bank routing number. So the computers look at this and it knows exactly what bank, which branch, what the location is, and so forth. So the first set of numbers here is the routing number. The second set of numbers is the payer, in this case Mark L. Smith. This is Mark's account number, the full account number. So here we're just going to write account number. All right, the third set of numbers right here, this is actually our check number. So if the bank calls and says we have a problem with check number 101, That's your check number. All right. What do we put on this line? What do you think goes here? This is where the payer's signature goes. Okay, so when Mark fills out the check, he's going to sign his name. Now, when I say sign his name, I mean it must be in cursive. Oftentimes, banks will not deposit checks if the signature is just printed. Theoretically, it's supposed to be compared to Mark's signature that is on record with his bank. So it's his signature here, and it's got to be in cursive. So while we go through this, anytime that you fill out a check for me, you will be signing it with your name, and it must be in cursive. If it's not in cursive, you're going to lose some points. Okay, coming around the corner here on our check, this arrow is pointing to this entire line that ends in the word dollars. So when we write out a check, we have to tell it how much money, how much the check is worth. So this is the check amount. However, we write out the amount in words. So if it's $10, we would write 10, T-E-N, and no cents, or 10 and 75 cents. Or the other acceptable way of writing it is 75 over 100, 75 cents out of $1. So this is the amount of the check in words. As opposed to right here, it starts with a dollar sign. This is where we put the amount in numbers. So this is where we put 10.75. Okay, upper right-hand corner, what is this? It's interesting, it's the exact same number as this. So this is our check number. We're going to round our last corner, and what is this pointing to? Yeah, it's the date. Okay, so we're looking at parts of a check. So we'll do this in the logical sequence, the logical order that one would fill out a check. So typically people will start here. So what would we put here? Yeah, we're going to put the date here. So that's our date line. Do you know what this is? That's our check number. This is check number 101. All right, over here, this is the person whose bank account this check is going to be written against. It's whose account the money is going to come out of. So while we don't say Mark L. Smith, we call this person the payer. They're paying the bill. They are the payer. Underneath, and this would have typically name, street address, city, state, and zip. Some people put phone number. Oftentimes, quote unquote, the experts say that if you are a young adult, don't put your phone number on there, because that's when the creepy crawly people come out and maybe will try to contact you. Some places will not accept a check without a phone number. So, different schools of philosophy. Excuse me. Next line down under the payer's information. It says pay to the order of. What are we going to put here? And we're going to write who or the company name that we are writing this check to. So we call this person, if this is the payer, this is the payee, the person getting paid. So we're going to write their full name here. At the end of the line, you'll notice there's a dollar sign and another line. This is where we write out the check amount in numbers. And I'm going to put that in all caps, and I think I'm going to have to abbreviate check. Check amount. Here, we'll make it even better. Amount in numbers. So if we're writing the check for $10.75, we would, on this line, we would write 10.75. Okay, the next line down, this long line, what do we put here? Notice it ends in the word dollars. So this is where we write the amount in words. So in the case of our $10.75, we would write 10 and 75 cents with a squiggly line. Notice it says dollars, so to say $10.75, dollars, grammatically that's just awful. Another way that banks will accept this to be written out is 10 and 75 slash 100, 75 cents out of a dollar. That is the other acceptable way. Okay. As we come, excuse me, as we come down, this is the bank that the account is at. So we've got the bank name, in this case, city and state. Sometimes you'll see street address. Sometimes there will be an email address. Sometimes there will be phone number. Sometimes it's all of it. Sometimes it's just the name of the bank and the city and state. So we're just going to say this is the bank. All right. Here we have another line, but it has the word for in front of it. This is called the memo. So I'm writing this check $10.75 because it's my best friend's birthday. I don't know. I'm a cheap friend. I'm only giving $10.75. So we're going to put down here memo for Susie's birthday. That way when we get the check back, we know what the heck we were spending, $10.75. Okay, at the bottom here you'll see a bunch of numbers, and I've got them broken into 3 different sections. Does anybody know what this first grouping, this first section of numbers is? These are our bank routing numbers. Okay, so every bank has a routing number, and this is how the computer figures out, all by itself, how to withdraw the right amount of money from the correct bank account. So each bank, each location has its own routing number. So that's the first set of numbers. The second set of numbers would actually be, excuse me, Mark L. Smith's account number with the bank. And then this last number, what is that? It's funny, it's the exact same number as this. This is our check number again. Okay, we only have one more spot here, a long line. This is just simply the signature. So Mark is going to sign his check, and again, it's a signature. It must be in cursive. Banks oftentimes will not accept a check where the name is just printed in here. Theoretically, Mark will have signed, when he started his account, he will have signed an authorization card that the bank keeps on file. If this signature does not match that authorization signature, they may not honor the check. They may not cash it when the payee takes it to put in their account. Or they'll pay it and then they'll charge Mark extra money. Banks do some weird things sometimes. So anyway, you must always sign in cursive down here. Even though it says Mark L. Smith, and we're going to be doing some checks here in a little bit, you are to sign your name down here. So if you haven't figured out how to make your name look pretty in cursive, this is a great opportunity to practice. So get to know these parts of a check. This will be on the test. If you scroll down, here are some sample checks for you. So again, we've got the date, November 5, 2012, who the check is being written out to, the payee. This is where the check amount is written in numbers, 2,540.25, and then it's written out in words, 2,540 and no cents. Now you don't have to put the word dollars here because dollars is already here. So this is one method, and no cents is one method of writing it. Notice that there's a big space here. You must always have this squiggly line to fill in that blank. That way, people who are masters at forging checks cannot, or at least it deters them from trying to change the dollar amounts on you. Down in our memo, we're saying that we're writing this for our November rent payment, and then Mark signs his name in cursive. So this was one way of writing the dollar amount and no cents. The other way to do it is here. So we've got 519 and 50 over 100, 50 cents out of 100. And again, that squiggle line, we've got a memo, happy birthday. And again, Mark signs his name. Okay, so there are two sample checks. And again, the parts of a check. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is actually start to complete a check register. So give me a second here. I need to pass out a packet for everybody, and in the packet you will have a blank register, you will have a transaction worksheet, you will have deposit slips, and you will have checks. And we're going to fill this all out today. Hopefully we'll finish today. If not, we'll finish this up on Monday. And hopefully by Monday I will have my voice back 100% and I don't have to resort to recording my voice after I've given it a rest in the evening.